So February 2017, after me and Dana started dating though, I do know that I had to help her and her mom out with getting to and from work. I think most of them they had a way to work. I was usually driving them home, which I was taking Dana home anyway at night, and we were just hanging out a little bit. But I was still going home, sometimes staying the night at her house, but I was mostly still going home to the apartment. And then on the weekends, I would stay with Dana, like Friday night after work, go home with her, and just be there till Sunday. And on Sundays, Amberlyn would have like this whole thing planned out with what she wanted me and her to do, whether that be going to the movies, grocery shopping, what have you. And at one point, we got a Costco membership because I was tired of her buying just like the smallest little bitty bits of things just so I'd have to take her shopping weekly. I was like, why do you have to grocery shop weekly? Why can't you do at least 2 weeks? Like, why does it have to be weekly? Because sometimes I would have plans and I would have to circulate myself around what Amberlyn needed to do, and it was just kind of annoying. And I thought the Costco membership would help. It didn't. The situation that happened with Charla and Amberlyn driving by Dana's house when I was hanging out with her, it doesn't matter what me and Dana were doing in there. That was still very, like, not called for. But basically, Dana was very upset with that, too. That day, I remember that day, I don't know why Charlotte didn't work. I don't think Charlotte ever got moved to morning shift at that job. I think she was literally just calling out to hang out with Amberlyn sometimes. But Amberlyn was like, oh, me and Charlotte want to hang out today. Can you just drop me off at her house? And then just get me after you're done hanging out with Dana. After work. Because, I had to work. I take her to Charlotte's, go to work, do work. And then I take Dana home. And we're just, just trying to hang out, whatever. Me and Dana, things went where they went, and I was just busy, obviously, and my phone was in the living room. We were in the bedroom, and when we came back out, I want to say Amberlyn had Snapchatted me a picture of my car in Dana's parking lot, Dana's driveway. Amberlyn ends up staying at Dana's with me one of the times that I stay there. We go there, and Amberlyn ends up like, oh, I want to get drunk, let's drink, it'll be okay, like, we're all friends here, whatever. And it was a little awkward, but it happened. And then I think we all ended up calling out at work the next day, because we were all a little hungover, but it was awkward, but I mean, it was still, like, a good time, whatever. And then after that, that's when Amberlyn's basically like, oh, bring Dana with us when we go to do stuff, so basically, it wasn't just, like, us trying to hang out with Amberlyn, me and Dana. It was me having to help Amberlyn go grocery shopping and do this and do that. Like, she always wanted to run around Lexington. She always wanted to do this. She always wanted to do that. And basically, Amberlyn was, like, giving me the okay to just bring Dana with us so we could spend time together. New Year's Day 2020. Is when this situation happened. We had actually spent New Year's with Amberlyn and Becky and Eric and Ricky. I don't know if that's the drunk night y'all are talking about. I don't know. But I know that we still were kind of iffy on him because he had shown signs of aggression towards dogs, never people. So we still just kept weary because our roommate had a dog. And I was like, listen, while we're gone, either just let him be outside, let him in, drink water, eat, there's a water bowl outside, whatever, or keep him in his kennel, or just make sure you're, like, with him. If you're just going to have him out, just make sure you watch him, because I just didn't want him getting aggressive with her dog, even though it was a female dog. I just didn't want anything happening while we weren't there. And like I said, we had hung out with Amberlyn, Becky, Eric, Ricky. Well, Amberlyn and Becky were like, well, it's been a while since we've been, like, towards where we lived. And she was like, well, what if we go to Olive Garden and all this stuff? So we drove, and we were literally getting into the town that me and Dana were living in. And our roommate starts calling Dana, and she's, like, hysterical, and she says that Cash has just bit her 2-year-old that was also living there. And we try to ask her what happened, like, is the baby okay? Is it, like, like, what happened? And she did not know. She did not know. She said she didn't see it happen. She wasn't even in the living room. It happened in the kitchen. She was in her bedroom, which was in the very back of the house. The kitchen was at the front of the house. I don't know what happened. There was a lot of iffy things going on with her as a mother as well that was beyond my control. And I'm not gonna get into all that. But all I knew was that I needed to go and get this baby to the doctor. I didn't know what to do about Cash right then. I just knew that with this happening and taking her to the hospital, that animal control and the health department were going to get involved, and 98% sure Cash was going to have to get put down. And it was either us take care of it or someone else. So I was like freaking out about that, freaking out about the baby. She got bit basically right here, like basically just one bite right here, and it was pretty rough. It was already very bruised. She didn't need stitches though or anything. Cash had his rabies shot, so there wasn't that to worry about. And I did have to fill out forms for the health department and animal control, and I asked them, am I just gonna have to put him down, like what? And they said don't do anything until they've came and assessed him, basically. I got a call while I was at work, I think the next day, just asking where the dog was and, like what was being done right then. And I told him, where he was, and I told them that we hadn't done anything to him, that we weren't home when they asked us what happened. Because like I said, I had asked the mom and she didn't know. And I told her all of what I knew, and, she's like, okay, well, someone will be out tomorrow to do it. And I said, okay, well, I have to work, but someone will be there. So Dana's dad waited for this guy the next day. Cash was down on a chain, and he let this health department guy walk down to him, rub his belly, scratch his ears, just act like the best dog to this man. And Dana's dad even explained to him, hey man, he doesn't like men, don't try to get too friendly with him. And then he let him do all that. So it was just very surprising. And the guy basically said that he didn't deem Cash dangerous. He said that it was ultimately a family matter because we were all living together when it happened, and it was up to us what we thought should be done about Cash. And when we talked to Dana's dad about it, we were like, well, how can we trust him again in someone's house? Like, we don't know what he's going to do. And he basically just said, don't put him down. Just let him stay here with me, out here on his chain, being a good dog, so he can't get in no trouble. Because none of us wanted to see him put down. It was not an easy decision, but it was also, you have to worry about him biting somebody like that. You can get arrested for that, I believe, or at least charged, and pay medical bills and all of this. And it's another thing to also just let him hurt somebody knowing that he's done it before. That's a big thing. And it happens. And I know Amber Lynn tried to say, oh, you can retrain dogs. No, you can't. Sometimes there's nothing you can do for an animal, but try to make it as comfortable as possible. And that's what we thought we did. Cash was Great Pyrenees Australian Shepherd mix. He was a very beautiful dog. Well, June of 2021, we go to move in with Dana's dad after we come out of the house that we had together. And the day that we're moving into the house, I don't know how, but he gets off of his chain, and my niece, who's 6, is swinging on the swing set that's up by the house, and he's just probably 6 feet away from her, just at a stance and growling, like he's just waiting for her to do the right move and he's gonna get her. And he had never done that before to her. He knows those kids have always played with him. It was crazy. Well, Dana realizes he's off of his chain. I don't tell it because I'm moving stuff in and out in the front of the house. This is behind the house. Well, Dana starts yelling for me, telling me that he's off the chain. And I try to get to Gracie, between him and Gracie, and so does Dana. And Dana tries to get him to get back on his chain, and he kind of growls at her, but then he kind of steps back and realizes who he is. I don't know if he was just confused, or gets him back on the chain. Everything's fine. Nothing happened, but it was scary. And about 2 days later, I went down there and was really good playing with him. I had him all excited. He was still on his chain though. I didn't want him to get off of it just in case. But I was playing with a stick with him, we were playing with toys. I was loving on him, he was being such a good dog. And I turned around from him when I went to be done playing with him to go back inside because I had got dirty. I was ready to go in. I was ready to eat. you know, whatever. And as soon as I turned around from him, I don't know, like, what happened, but he jumped onto me, like, attacking jumped, scratched my back all up, and was just, like, snarling and trying to get my neck from behind. And, I mean, it was scary. I honestly thought that he was going to get me, but I just barely got out of his, like, chain range. And I went inside and I told Dana that, and I was like, I don't know if it was, like, something I did or, like, what happened, like, that he just snapped. She tried to go down there, and he tried to snarl and do everything her wouldn't not even let her attempt to play with him, anything. So then we were, like, going back and forth talking about it. We were like, well, what do we do? Like, if no one can go down there and play with him, no one can go down there and love on him, no one can go down there and just be like, come on, Cash, you're going to go with us today and run around and take him to PetSmart, whatever. You know, like, just do normal things with your dog, because we're still doing those things. I was like, if we cannot do these things, he's going to be miserable, not having any, just being on a chain day in and day out. Like, who's going to feed him if no one can go down there and go near him? We were just, like, very concerned, and we were like, there's just no way for an animal to have to live with no human contact, just food and water when you can get it if you let someone near you to feed you, and being tied up all the time. Like, because there was no way we could take him out anywhere. How could we trust him? You know, like, it was very emotional for me and Dana. We were both very upset, and Dana's dad ended up putting him down for us. Yes, that means he did it himself. That's all you need to know, really. It was very traumatic. So that is what happened with Cash. It wasn't her story to tell. It wasn't her business. She can try to say that she tried to make, like, this big deal about everything when it was going on. I don't remember her making a big deal of everything. I just remember trying to take care of that baby, try to get everything figured out with the health department. I had a lot of stuff going on when it went down. I don't remember her putting her 2 cents in towards it. And, I mean, ultimately, it was up to me and Dana. Like, she can say that she was upset about it and that dogs can be retrained. Like I said, maybe dogs can be retrained, but from my experience, no. I mean, but I don't know if it's like a southern thing, if it's like a backwoods thing, but it's pretty, I don't want to say normal, but my whole life I've had to have dogs put down and us just be the ones to do it. I've never done it. I know my stepdad's done it. And, you know, Dana's dad had done it. You know, like, to me, I don't know. It was just like one of those things that's normal to me. It might not be normal to some of you guys, but it is to me. And I didn't come on here to be mean and vile. I know I make some funny jokes and all that, like I said, but that's not what this is for. And I feel like Amberlynn is just, she's the one being malicious. She's the one that keeps coming back at all this stuff. And that's not what I'm trying to do. She can say that, and then obviously we're not working together. I don't know why anyone would think that. She doesn't want me posting anything. I have some screenshots that I'm going to share with you guys in another video. I don't know why Amberlynn's trying to portray everything the way she is. I guess it's because she likes to keep the narrative in her own.